Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 1 versus 1 on Vertigo, and I'm going to be using the 82nd Airborne Division, which is the new division on the NATO side available in the next update. This map is also available in the next update as well, so this is Vertigo. You can see the hills on the side here with the kind of large open ground in the centre. Quite different to some of the other maps with much more open ground to take care of. But I'm going to be up against Prodos in this one. Make sure to check him out, twitch.tv/SDLeague. He quite kindly played a couple of 1v1s against me. I have one gameplay to show you of the 82nd, and I also have a gameplay of the Air Assault Brigade on the Soviet side. So we'll be taking a look at both of them, but today focusing on the 82nd. And you can see that I'm already getting quite a lot of troops down and quite far up. And now the reason for this is these units are airborne units. So on their card, when you have them in the top left, there is a little parachute icon. And what that means is that they are airborne units. And airborne units can pre-deploy further than even recon units can. So recon units would probably start around this line, like where the scout is. And then any unit that's designated as an airborne unit can actually deploy even further up. So I actually have airborne recon at the start here, right at the tippy top. So airborne scout, and airborne scout. And these airborne scouts, they are 4-man squads. They have 84. So the 84 is really good for destroying vehicles early on because it's got 17 AP power, which is pretty good. Behind those I have some military police on all fronts. The military police have the M67s, really good for taking out light armoured vehicles and transports. I've also got some of these mortars, these 107mm mortars. So in this latest update they have added like units that are support weapons basically, that can be towed around or, you know, in this case picked up and moved around by the Humvees. So yeah, 107mm mortars coming in. I've also got an Avenger at the start here. Now the Avenger's really interesting because it's a really strong AA piece, but it can be pre-deployed with the airborne units. So where before pre-deployment, especially with recon units, was kind of risky due to enemy counterplay with aircraft or helicopters particularly, the Avengers really help you deal with that. So it's pretty big that you can pre-deploy those Avengers forwards. There's also the military police here, and I've also got these TOW 2s. The 82nd gets a lot of TOW 2s, so making good use of those is very important to destroy enemy heavy armor, which you'd otherwise have a hard time dealing with. You do have the M1 IP Abrams, but they are more limited and they're quite expensive, so it's really kind of a risk sometimes to bring them in because they can be hit by AT planes pretty easily. But you can see here the new Little Bird. That's going to be flying forwards with its double minigun and the Hydra 70s. I've also got the Heavy Hog on the top side there, the AH-1F. That's going to have those 127mm rockets. So Little Bird firing away early on towards the Grenzer unit, using up some of its rockets. The Little Bird does level out pretty damn fast. I do manage to take out the transport, but I don't think I killed the infantry there. On the left side, I do get pretty far up. The military police and the airborne scout bumped into Prodos's Grenzers, and my Avenger's going to be stopping this Mi-8T from doing too much damage with its rockets, and I'm also going to be able to take out this Mi-8T, manage to stun it with the first rocket, and yeah, this is the sort of thing that would really do a lot of damage. So previously Mi-8s like that would do loads of damage to your initial push, like that rocket did there onto my military police, and you'd kind of get screwed over by that. But now, because you have the Avengers, you can move up and deal with these Mi-8s or any other like attacking helicopters early on quite easily. So moving up my Little Bird here just to see the effectiveness of the minigun. So that is the plan. Meanwhile, the Avengers going to be trying to go for the Mi-8T and misses all but one of those 4 shots. It does have 50% accuracy, so it's pretty much a coin flip on whether or not you're going to hit it. And my poor Little Bird just takes an awesome missile to the face, so that's going to go down. Meanwhile, on this side, the Heavy Hog's going to be engaging with its 20mm onto the Grenzer, but Protoss had enough of that, going to be bringing in his Su-27 to shoot it down. My Avenger, unfortunately, getting pretty low on ammo. and not able to shoot that down regardless. Doesn't really have enough time on target because that Su-27 is pretty fast. Now Protoss trying to push in here with some Mortar. My airborne units are in position. The airborne gunners and the airborne unit. So the airborne gunners, they have 3 of these M60s, so they're pretty good at dealing with infantry at a distance. Over here, Su-27 going to be coming in again for another run. Got my mortars coming down here, trying to do some chipping damage to these Grenzers and the Iglas, just so that my military police can get the job done. I did bring in an Eagle to try and catch out Protoss's Su-27, but wasn't quite quick enough with that, so he's going to get away this time around. Airborne Scouts still engaging the Mortar here, but the Mortar can't actually see my Airborne Scouts, so they are being shot for free right now. M67 military police going to be engaging the Vertigo. I've also got the Airborne Scouts here moving across the open as well. OH-58 does get taken out on the right hand side. I believe the OSA probably moved up there and shot it down. But at the start, I do have the +3 advantage. I capped this early on, so it has given me some decent score early on. And these mortars have been really, really helpful so far. Now, these mortars are super strong at the moment. They're in 25 points. I kind of expect it to change. They do sound really cool. I love the ping of the mortar. Ping. So yeah, just mortaring basically constantly onto these infantry squads. Any direct hit's going to do like 1 damage, and that allows my military police to just be a little bit better here. And it also kind of shows me, well, kind of just allows me to kill this off, and then I can keep the military police there, and that will show me that there's nothing there in the future. I did put the units into the Humvees as that artillery fire was coming in, so I didn't lose my 107s. So that was good. A little bit of quick micro there. And here, well, the airborne scouts still doing well. They do have exceptional stealth, so able to shoot at that Mortar for a long time before the Mi-8T there finally takes it out. We're going to be hitting a little bit of a lull after the initial engagement up against Protoss. I'm in a pretty good position overall, particularly on the right hand side here. Having my infantry in these compounds is definitely going to allow me the safety to bring in my command. So you can see I've got another Humvee on the way in order to capture that. And I've got an M1 IP actually heading up to deal with the T-62s, because there's not really an easy way for me to deal with T-62s at close range, except from the TOW2s. Well, sorry. Yeah. So not really an easy way to deal with them at close range. The TOW2s can deal with them at longer range, but at close range, you're much better off using something like a tank. So M1 IP is on its way to deal with those T-62s. My 107s are trying to like soften them up a bit. You can see that that's doing a tiny bit of damage to those T-62s with any direct hits. And what that means is that when my M1 IP actually ends up engaging them, it will be able to just one-shot them at a distance, regardless of if it completely penetrates or not. So yeah, actually doing a reasonable amount of damage there with the 107s. And it's going to force Protoss to pull them back. And I have moved up a couple of units, or 1 unit so far, on this right-hand side into this compound, just to kind of control this right road so that I don't get flanked. Left side is still pretty vulnerable, but I have managed to completely clean out this area with the airborne squad. Avenger is moving forwards here. I actually intended to move forwards my other Avenger on this side, because this actually doesn't have any stingers left. It was actually meant to be this one that's chilling here. Look at that guy. He's just loving life in there. Got a cheeky smile on him. Okay, anyway, moving on. Yeah, Humvee has arrived in this sector, in the Alpha sector. So that is going to give me the advantage again. Since Protoss has capped his back sectors now, it did go back to even. And I'm going to cap this, which is going to push us at a +2. Since I have a better position here, it's going to be hard for him to get a vehicle in here without me seeing it. And if I know where it is, then I can mortar it, I can bomb it, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, generally in a good position right now until he starts contesting these buildings, which he's going to start to try and do now as he brings in some infantry reinforcements. 107mm mortars firing away still. These do actually have a lot of ammo. They have 100 shells each, so constantly firing with these mortars anywhere where I saw infantry previously. Now Protoss here did use Saperi, and well, Saperi are pretty good at close range engagements, and yeah, if they can get in range of their satchels, it's pretty much a delete button. So both of my airborne squads there getting absolutely toasted, and this airborne not really doing too well against the Grenza, also going to come under fire from the Saperi soon. Toe 2 is in a really nice position here. Had it in the tree line. So technically it's hidden. If you mouse over like cover when you have something like selected in the game, you can sometimes see like this is definitely cover, but these don't really show up as cover, but they are technically. So it is giving stealth bonus to my Toe 2 that far up in the center, which is really, really nice. So I was making sure to take advantage of that. And here comes the A10. This A10 is the newer rocket A10, so not only does it use its really strong Avenger gun, it also drops some rockets on its target. Really unlucky there that the Toe 2 missed its target onto the command. Yeah, the A10 was coming in for the run onto these tanks. Unfortunately, lost line of sight. The Avenger can't see them. OS is going to come in with its rockets, but worse than that, we're going to see the Su-27S on its tail, and well, A10 going to go down without really doing much, unfortunately. Got a little bit of a out of the main gun. Now the F-15's coming in to engage the Su-27s. This Eagle really not doing a good job of shooting down that Su-27. My second F-15 takes out the other Su-27 though. This one going to be turned back onto. Su-27 takes it down in reply. The Su-25 was trying to get its infrared missiles on target, but the Eagle can get out in time, so no worries there. So 1 for 1 on the Su-27s, which is not too bad. If I can shut down his airplay, that's fine by me. So trading 1 for 1 on the Su-27s is fine, as long as I do kill his Su-27, his other Su-27. This one, going to be able to take out my M1 IP though, and my Avenger was dead, so I wasn't able to get another shot onto that. My Stinger did hit it, but wasn't able to get another shot off in time due to the reload time, which was really kind of unfortunate. I didn't need to lose that M1 IP, I was a bit greedy leaving it that far forwards. Protoss is now going to make a bit of a play though. Since the M1 IP is dead, his T-62s are fine to move forwards. That means I'm going to have to do a runner with my command that was chilling nearby. I had this command here pretty much to provide redundancy whilst also capping the point, but it of course does put you at a bit of a risky spot if you end up being overrun like this, for sure. It's going to be a Humvee going down. It doesn't matter too much if these Humvees die because they're only like 10 points, but so it is nice to always refund your transports if you don't need them. In this case, I was keeping the transports near the mortars because it's easy to pick them up and move them. But yeah, get the Humvee into here. Wasn't sure if he saw it at this point, but knowing that he's pushed into this side, I'm going to assume that Protoss like knows that it's in the corner over here, especially by the way that the front line is facing. Yeah, the 107's a toast, unfortunately. The T-62 is going to make short work of them. And yeah, I'm in a really, really tough spot, waiting for the M1 IP and the Sheridan to arrive. So here's the Sheridan. The Sheridan does have like decent HE on its main gun. It's got 2.28 compared to like the 1.26 of the M1 IP. So it's pretty good against taking down infantry, whilst also having a 50 cal. It does have an HGM as well, which is, you know, pretty decent range, 2,650 meter range, so it can engage tanks at a distance. But T-62 going to be firing away, and well, one pops my Sheridan, so rip. Humvee is doing a runner from the Grenza, and my M1 IP trying to get back forwards here, but no recon, so I can't see the T-62 at the moment, even though it was pretty much in the open. I've got some more Avengers on the way. I've got another Humvee tow here. This is the Humvee with the Toe 2 system on it. The Avengers are really important here because I don't want the Su-25 to come in and AT my M1 IP again. So, yeah. I'm going to have to keep them nearby and make sure that I support this push properly if I want to take back the right side of the sector. But meanwhile, I am capping this sector, so it's currently equal on the map. 1,158 points in my favour though overall due to my early lead. So military police, I'm trying to move them over to the right to spot the tanks so that my M1IP can move forwards. Meanwhile, BTR-60P BK does come in, but M1IP, cheeky snipe there from me, just attacked me forwards, managed to pop it before it got into cover, so that was great. TOW 2 firing its last missile towards the T-80 in the centre. It's going to try and run away. Does believe like it blew up there, but it didn't actually do any damage. But MI8 is going to go down. It's a good clean kill. And I've also got this airborne unit up on the right, trying to do a little bit of a flanking attempt. Going right up that hill. So here's the recon. The Kiowa coming over to provide line of sight for the M1IP. Being really, really careful not to get it shot down by the OSA, so just trying to position it in a way that I'm kind of protected by this tree line a little bit. There's going to be the first of the T-62s, and that's going to go down. Meanwhile, on the top side, Su-25 coming in for my M1IP again, and is going to take it down. That was unfortunate. Su-25 going to get away with that as well, as the Avengers fail to hit the coin flip. Oh, never mind, it did go down. Oh, I thought it didn't. Oh well, that's good. Kiowa going to help take out the T-62. At close range there, the M1IP almost went down. You can see that T-62s can technically two-shot the M1IP. But cleaning up both those T-62s is going to allow me to move up my Avengers. As you can see, I accidentally selected these Avengers on the left-hand side with the double-click. But yeah, moving them up, getting the Stingers up as well now. Just trying to solidify the position with AA so that those Su-25s can't be an issue. And I've got a supply truck coming over to the centre to resupply my TOW 2, so that I can get that back into its good position in the centre there. But big artillery coming in onto the airborne engineers, going to be moving those forwards. And meanwhile, Protoss has managed to get some recon infantry through on this left-hand side. Over here, the Humvee TOW 2 going to be going for the shot onto the Sturm. I trade an Avenger for the Sturm. I'm relatively happy about that. T-62 going to miss its missile. And the Humvee TOW 2 does get the hit, takes it down to 1 health. Going to try and reverse away from the other HGem. Fortunately, he missed again. Things are definitely getting pretty crazy. Now, these Avengers, they're using their 50 cal on the side of the turret to shoot those Grenzers, which I thought was really cool. So the Grenzers actually taking a reasonable amount of damage. Over here, T-80BV does push forwards, gets absolutely slammed by my TOW 2s, so quite happy about that as well. And meanwhile on the left, I'm using my airborne engineer leader to engage these Grenzers and Sapperty. They do have like 12 men, so they're pretty chunky squads, and I was hoping that they would maybe kill them a bit quicker since it's like heavy to no cover engagement, but alas, it's not that quick. I did also bring in an A-10 to help clean up them quicker, so that's going to be coming in for a little bit of a run here. We'll get to hear the brute once again, and the rockets destroying that last man. But I lost line of sight of anything else, so going to be trying to just get that out of there for the time being. A couple of airborne engineers on the way. These airborne did manage to spot the BTR-60P BK back here. And meanwhile on the right, I am moving my Avengers over. New airborne engineer leader has arrived on the right-hand side. That's going to cancel out any points that Protoss was getting. So Protoss here does have the Sapperty RPO. They do get stunned initially, so I went for the run with the demolition charge onto the Sapperty RPO, but didn't quite work out. And the multi-strike on the other side, plus the building getting destroyed, absolutely demolishes that squad. So things very, very close at the moment. Su-25 coming in, strafing my Stinger to death. Hoping to shoot that down. If I can get rid of it, then it'd be really, really good for us. But yeah, that's the one that got away. Really lucky that it got away. Meanwhile though, I managed to get the airborne IP to move forwards and kill the BTR, so that's going to give us back the sector. And my airborne engineers are going to be quite happy to engage the Mortar here. So going to be taking them out. Meanwhile on the left, got some MI8 and the MI24V. Going to be trying to move over my Avenger. I've also got one of these Vulcan like placement guns, or like support guns. I don't know what to call these. Like he's moving into the cover there. But the first shot is going to shoot down the MI24V. I assume that was already damaged. And then we're going to be able to take out the MI8 there. Rocket plane as well. I'm going to be napalming the backside with my bomber, since I know that's roughly where the command is. And voila, we managed to decap the sector for the time being. Whether or not he moved it or it died, I'm not entirely sure, but either way, happy to take a +4 at this current moment in time. So I moved the Vulcan 20mm system all the way forwards, and these fellas are going to wheel it into position. I've got 2 M1 IPs here now. They're going to be trying to hold that position as well. Meanwhile on the right, infantry is still doing well against the Mortar. And with the 82nd, you do still kind of have that NATO infantry bonus, I guess. The fact that you have like larger squads with somewhat better weapons does mean that you do win like a lot of the infantry engagements one-on-one. It does definitely make it difficult for the Soviet side right now to take good infantry engagements. But with the command coming in here back to a +2, I also have the A10 back here that you can hear, but it's because I brought it in and then it lost its target and it just floated around there for a little while. We're going to be trying to move it on this Sapeli RPO as the military police do find them. Some more airborne engineers on the way to help secure this compound, because if that compound is secure, then we can deal with the leader that's there. And I'm also going to be sending my Humvee here to go have a look, see if it gets shot at by anything through this tree line. But the Kiowa is here, and I think I sent that off to the left side to rearm or something, or at least it was landed behind here. Take out the gas truck, trying to find line of sight onto the leader. A10 in the meantime going to finish off the Sapeli RPO, and I think it did take a face full of missiles from the Mi-24, and there's also the OSA there going to be shooting it down. It was unfortunate. Kiowa in the meantime going to catch the OSA with its pants down whilst it's reloading. Managed to take it out, which is really good. And the Kiowa here, I was going to land it to avoid the OSA, but it's just as well I didn't because the Gren's right there. Instead going to be attack moving that to the right hand side, and well, the other OSA ends up taking it down instead. Airborne troops have arrived. My airborne units here, they got absolutely demolished. I think what ended up happening is I jumped out the building and then the Sapeli threw their charges and it hit both of my squads at the same time. So that was really, really bad. There's like one Sapeli squad, like pretty much 2v1'd, which was, yeah, bad. I got an Apache on the left side. Looking for the cheeky 80 gems onto the T-80BV while he's not paying attention, but rockets, or sorry, smoke does come out. Airborne scout trying to move forwards though. I'm just trying to reveal the position of the recon here. Meanwhile on the right, trying to get the airborne engineers close enough. These ones I probably should have fallen back so that the AT gun couldn't have taken us out, because this is the bigger AT gun, the 100mm, which does have the 15 penetration and also HGM capability. But since I can't get direct line of sight, time for another bombing run, so napalm going for it again. Onto that leader on the left hand side. Was hoping that I kill it this time, and if I don't, well, that's fine, but we're still at a decent lead, but I do manage to get it. +2 for me again. And now we're kind of chilling. But MiG-23 going to be coming in with the bombing strike. Does kill off the Avenger there. Don't manage to take it down with the Vulcan 20 mil. But my Vulcan, it can be used against infantry, so gonna be pushing it there and yeah, wiping them out. Also with the help of the tanks. Apache with another HGM flying off toward the tank. I wasn't sure if I hit that because it did manage to get out in time, but over on this right hand side in the meantime, the M1 IP does go down. Protoss moves forwards with this like AT infantry, like the RPG 20, I think it's 21, that has like 21 AP. 29, there it is. And then you got the T-62s here, so yeah, he takes out my M1 IP. It actually leaves a lot of my stuff quite vulnerable, losing that, because my Avengers are vulnerable here, my Stingers are vulnerable, and I unfortunately don't see that line of sight right there, and the Avenger gets taken out. The other one's going to do a runner after that. So that was another swing that I had to deal with. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, I did manage to kill off this Grenzer, which was providing recon, which is good. And now we see that this small squad is going to be spotting my Stinger. My Stinger is going to have to fall back. Did bring up another one of these Vulcan 20s. And the interesting thing about these is I think they're just good for chipping that extra little bit of damage you need after you hit a plane a couple of times with like a low HE missile. So that's what I was using them for. Also, if they do get in line of sight of infantry, they can help suppress quite well, stun enemy infantry. But new M1 IP going to be on the way. I've also got the F-111 coming in for the bombing strike, where I knew that he'd put command previously, so looking for that cheeky kill. But here comes the Su-27 to try and shoot that down, and well, that missile, bang on. My Eagle though, going to return the favour, does take out the Su-27, and that puts me in a pretty nice position, because it's going to be unlikely that he's got more AA that's as good as the, or more aircraft that is good as the SG-27 to challenge the Eagle. So from now on, my Eagle is going to be king of the sky for the time being, assuming that I can get it reloaded and back on the field fast enough. Airborne scouts, I did bring these up to kind of get recon for the my tank, but like these T-62s are still pretty scary at close range. Avenger is gonna engage and kill off that infantry. I do lose the M35 there, and the Avenger quickly after due to another T-62. Meanwhile on the left, I am focusing on that engagement. MiG-23 coming in the bombing strike. He was trying to finish off my M1 IP here, but I managed to just about dodge the bomb, so that was good. But the T-ATBV going to be moving forwards. Gets a clean shot onto my M1 IP. I was really trying to... So what I was trying to do here, I was trying to manage the engagement between the T-ATBV and the OSAs. If I can kill the OSAs, my Apache can just free kill the T-ATBV. If the OSAs are alive, then my Apache can't do anything. So I was trying to use the M1 IPs initially to engage the OSAs, but I completely missed microed. This ended up getting killed off by a side shot. And then this one I didn't get the smoke off fast enough, so that was a bit of a misplay from me and really left the our left side quite open and vulnerable. Also, meanwhile, on the left-hand side here, you can see the M1 IP ended up getting killed. So that was really, really bad, because now there is like 3 tanks approaching my position, and I have absolutely 0 AT to stop them. Like the engineer squad here does have a law, but currently they don't actually have any rockets on these squads, so you can't get ammunition on them, which is a little bit of a bug that will probably be fixed. Yeah, that was not ideal, but he didn't commit to the push through there, so that was fine. I did have the Airborne scout here actually, but they weren't unloaded, so that wouldn't have really helped. But the AT4 from the Airborne scout would have been able to probably do some damage at least to the 10 front armor of the T-62. Would have taken at least 2 shots to kill them. So on the left, going to be pushing forwards with the Humvee, looking for those HGM shots. Second Humvee firing away. Can it land? Yes, it can. T-ATBV going down in 2 TOW2s, which is actually really nice. And I have now brought up a Chinook with that beauty. Going to be landing next to it with the Apache, so that it can resupply its Hydra rockets and Hellfire missiles. As the T-62s are coming across here, they are going to be under attack from my Humvee TOW 2. So that's one of them dealt with. I'm just kind of hoping that I can deal with the rest of these in good time. Second one going to go down there. Motor Strokey does find my leader, but I do have the guns to beat it. The main thing I'm worried about here is a plane strafing me or bombing me, or you know, a helicopter coming over and attacking us, because we don't really have much AA either, other than maybe the Vulcan. So now I'm coming in with the F-15 to shoot down the Su-25, try and get rid of that threat to my tanks, and I am successful. A MiG-23 MF also going to be coming in. I agreed for that. Unfortunately, my F-15 does go down, and I do drop the bombs here with the F-111s, but the OSAs take care of that. That was a bit of a waste on my part, like on the left there, because I knew that the OSAs were in position. I shouldn't have really wasted it. Alright, so Paddy, they're going to try and advance on my engineer leader. My engineer leader doing a runner. He's like, I need to get out of here. Yeah. Meanwhile on the left, M1IP is going to be pushing forwards aggressively. I'm pretty convinced there's not too much here that I've got to worry about, so just going to be moving forwards, taking out the BMP-3. Meanwhile on the right, Mi-24 is coming up. The Stinger's whiffing plenty of shots. Yep, there's another miss, unfortunately. And as I said before, yeah, kind of left me in a bit of a predicament. Managed to get the airborne engineer into pretty good position behind the tree line, just trying to cut line of sight from these Mi-24s. But absolutely playing with fire right now. M1IP getting smashed with rockets and pinned down. And finally, the leader is going to die as he completely full commits to that. My M1IP in a very, very bad spot. Mi-24 does have its 8 gems, so down it goes. And yeah, his helicopters really did get the better of me here. Just a bit light on AA. Now here I'm bringing my Apache across to help deal with the BMP-3s that are on the way in the Saperi, and I'm hoping that the 30mm can take out the Mi-24V, but what I completely forgot about was the fact there's an Mi-24V AA here, and that's just going to slap my Apache to death. This was an absolute waste. I really shouldn't have done that. Looks cool though. So a new Avenger is on the way. It's gonna save my bacon from the Mi-24V. It almost finds my command further back. And I'm gonna be able to fast attack, move that forwards, to try and deal with the next one. The Avengers are pretty fast, so you can sneak up on these helicopters pretty quick. He's going to have to do a runner for the time being. I did bring up a new engineer leader, but Protoss has brought up many BMP-3s, so I'm going to be super careful here. My Avenger, a bit too late to turn around, is going to get smashed by that missile. That's going to force me to unload one of these Stingers early, getting them back up. TOW 2 also missed the BMP-3, and these Mortars on the left-hand side are going to be using some of their remaining ammo to just try and hit some of the infantry and stuff that's in these tree lines.
Loud and clear.
But at the moment, yeah, kind of bad. My position is not good. So I'm going to have to bring over these M1IPs from the left, but at the same time, Protoss starts pushing in with the T-62Ms on that side, so it's been a very back and forth game. Fortunately, I did build myself quite a lead early on in terms of score, so that was good. The Stinger there, letting one of them die in the transport, not good. Going to be bringing up the H1 Cobra though. That's going to be able to get its 127mm rockets on target. And those rockets are actually pretty strong. It's just you don't have many of them. I don't really feel like they do that much more damage than normal rockets, but they definitely hit vehicles a bit harder. So making sure that goes over here to land next to the Chinook. All the while being shot at by the BMP-3. So 2 MI8s now pushing on my position. Do have the Stingers in position, of course, so that's all good. Sheridan's going to be trying to fire their HGMs. I managed to take down both the helicopters. And the Vertigo Heavy now on the ground. Now they did, in this update, fix the auto-unloading troops. Now if a squad is in a helicopter when it crashes, it does take a bunch of damage. And I believe they're like stunned pretty much. So, yeah. It is a really nice change. Now Sheridan's trying to engage from a distance. M1IP not able to get that far up. Gonna smoke it off just to cover me. In one on the left, plane does come in and bomb my M1IP. So losing another M1IP there is obviously not good. This Heavy Hog wasn't in range of the supply, so it didn't land. I'm gonna have to manually do that. And since the M1IP is now actually finally making ground here, I'm gonna bring my AB leader across to maybe get back into this sector. But since there's now a time limit in like WARNO compared to like Subdivision 2 where there's not, there's actually only 5 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. Protoss has a lot of work to do if he wants to push me back entirely. Nice kill onto the BMP-3 there. I've actually found myself in a pretty nice position. The MI-24V did briefly spot my Airborne squad on that right-hand side. But now I have the 3 tanks plus the Stinger. Got the Humvee Tow too. Also got the Kiowa coming up. That's a new Kiowa. Did manage to use this M1IP to kill an Osa as well. And these M1IPs have also managed to find these Sturms, so going to be able to pop them with a nice flanking attempt. This Kiowa ends up wasting its hellfire on the MTLB. But this Rapira does take out my Humvee. I wanted to try out that Humvee with its grenade launcher, but didn't get a chance since it was killed prematurely. M1IP finishes off the AT gun, and I'm going to be able to unload my squad in there to cancel out the +2 that Protoss has against me. The LRS squad now going to be moving ahead to provide recon. I've got 4 Sheridans, 2 Stingers, and the M1AP plus the Kiowa. So, able to move up here and make a counterplay on that right hand side. But meanwhile, on the left, Protoss making a counterplay with his Mi-8. Does get hit by the Avenger. I'm going to be shooting that down though. Heavy Hog gets some rockets onto the T-62s, but it's probably not going to be enough to take him out. Sheridans have arrived there, but at close range they're not going to be that effective. Sheridan's also struggling to take out this T-62. The 8 gems just completely missing. This thing only has 40% accuracy, so with my luck that's never going to hit. M1IP. Gonna move up. You're probably wondering why I'm running this in the open. The thing is, as long as I keep it moving, it's all good. I think it's going to have a hard time trying to kill it. So that's what I'm trying to do there. So they can see my airborne engineer here. The Avengers is going to come across and shoot that Mi-8 down though. And here I'm going to start making the counterplay into the sector. Mi-8 with the Vertigo Heavy going to get caught out again. But the Stingers, oh, they missed, so they ran out of ammo and the machine guns have to finish the job. Mi-8 goes down. It's going to leave that Vertigo Heavy nice and stunned for me. We kill it off. But yeah, left side is pretty grim. Bombing strike did come in as well, but actually missed the airborne engineer somehow. And since there's no more AA, since this thing has run out of ammo, well, the Mi-24V is just happily rocketing my M1IP. 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. Do manage to move the Kiowa over to the left. That's going to help deal with the remaining T-62s here. But since these airborne aiders don't have their law yet, well, the MT will be able to help find and kill that off. But the NRS aim want to move forwards here. The M1IP is also pushing forwards aggressively. Kratos' MO24's run out of rockets, so I'm quite happy to move forwards. And I'm pretty convinced at this point that he doesn't really have too much ahead of me. It's just my units aren't really in a good spot to push forwards, because if I overextend right now and he has like more helicopters and stuff, then my Stinger's out of ammo, just going to be completely useless. So I do have an M35 supply on the way to help deal with that. Meanwhile, the LRS, at close range, doing quite a decent job against the Mi-24, spraying it down with their M249s and the carbines. And another brief lull. I was waiting for my Kiowa here to fix up so that I could use the AH-1F and the Kiowa to push into the backside of this sector and kill off the command there. Sheridan blowing up that poor Gaz. But here goes the airborne unit that was on this right hand side the whole time. Going to be finding its way into the back area. And my spies finally arrived, so that's why I'm being a bit more aggressive here. I'm happy to move up a little bit. By the way, didn't need to have AA in the end. Managed to get close enough to the BTR, and the Sheridan pops it with its HGM. Was ground targets on the left there that managed to kill us, the BMP3s. MIA trying to get in position. Stinger getting its first shot off. The BTR going to go down. I also managed to kill the BTR on this side using the H1F and the Kiowa. And just like that, game ends because of time. I was just about to capture the left sector as well, so I would have been at a +4 at the end there. But yeah, fantastic game. Really, really kind of came down to the wire a little bit. There was a couple moments that really put me on the back foot, like losing my Apache unnecessarily. There was a couple times where my M1 IPs went down due to like bad micro. Those things, if I'd avoided them, this game would have been much more one-sided, I think. But yeah, it was a really, really good game. The one eagle there, Anthony, taking out the Su-27s and the Su-25. That was pretty good. The Kiowas did a lot of favors, picking off the T-62s, and also the Humvee TOW-2s really, really performed well, hiding in cover. But I think that mainly comes down to the fact that like recon is a little bit weird at the moment, where you can get away with firing a lot of HGMs from the same tree line, like without even moving, and the opponent can't see you, which I really don't think it should be a thing, because it's just not realistic and it's not good for gameplay. It's like kind of annoying. So yeah, I do manage to get away with like quite a lot of TOW-2 kills because of that. The M1 IP though, that flanked in, managed to get a nice chunk of kills there, which was really, really helpful. And then the Kiowa coming up clutch there at the end as well with the T-62 kills. So yeah, that was a really, really fun game. A really good demonstration of the ability of the 82nd, I think, as well. They are actually quite a well-rounded airborne division. I was a bit worried that they'd be, more vulnerable to tanks, but thankfully, like with the amount of HGMs that you can get in this division, you're not too concerned about open range engagements. You're more concerned about close range engagements. AT4s are definitely worth having on your front line, just to make sure that you can deal with those tanks in the future. And hopefully they'll fix the AT on that leader unit so that I have that to rely on too. But yeah, in the end, 8,660 kills to 8,640 losses. So there's literally 20 points in it kills wise. But I managed to get a really good lead early on, which is, pretty much how the 82nd is supposed to play, apparently. You get your ground early on, and then you have to kind of like defend and hold off for the rest of the game. And that's kind of how it played out. So yeah, I think that was a relatively good demonstration of the 82nd. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.